Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be continuing and finishing off the narration and character voice acting for the story A KAZDELIAN Rescue. Right then, final part, final two cards, so let's get on with it. So far the story has been pretty chill and pretty goofy. Very interesting to see the all the KAZDELIANs now a bit more at peace and a bit more chill after what has happened prior in the main story, of course, and the dealings with the myriad souls have been, well, sorta dealt with over there, so you know, they're kind of chill right now. But that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's for people to discover who haven't caught up with the main story. But speaking of, for anybody who bumps into the voiceover through this episode, the playlist is in the description of the video at the very top, so you can not miss it, and all I can say is enjoy. So far, a very good story, like I said. But yeah, also speaking of, on the previous episode I saw a couple of interesting comments. One of them being around the fragments of the different Revenants that we have gathered so far, or seen so far rather, corresponding to the 7 deadly sins essentially. Thank you for pointing that out. They actually do, in hindsight, they do actually resemble the 7 deadly sins quite directly, as you pointed out. So yeah, thank you very much for pointing that out. Also very interesting, I saw one of you ask about Nymph's sister, essentially, that works for Rhode Island, and if we've seen her before or something like that. Just to very briefly go over it, because that kind of reminded me as well, and I forgot to mention it last time about it. But yeah, we knew about Nymph's sister for a while, or rather we knew about a Dial working in HR, but we haven't seen them. At least so far on Global, we haven't seen her visually. There is no sprite, we just know that she exists, and she got mentioned in a couple of places, mostly like operator files. I think there was one or two, maybe more, like operator records that randomly mentioned a Dial in HR, maybe even a story that randomly mentioned it, but I can't remember right now from the top of my head. But yeah, she got randomly mentioned in a couple of places, but if I remember correctly, not named or anything specific, just that there is a Dial that works in Rhode Island's HR department, and that's about it. That's all we know. So at least for Global, I have no idea about the Chinese client of the game, because it's like 7 months ahead of us. I don't look at that stuff. The only thing I know about the Chinese client of the game is like the stories that are gonna be coming out, like the banner and the name of the story and the playable units. I don't know NPCs that they show, I don't know stories, I don't know anything else. So if they showed her sister at some point in the next 7 months, I'm gonna discover that when it happens. So far I have no idea. But yeah, we randomly knew it, but I want to bring that up when I saw the comment for everybody else listening to this, because it's one of those pieces of information that can be very easily overlooked, because, like I just said, it's in very niche places and gets kind of skimmed over if you don't pay attention to it, right? But yeah, anyway, let us continue with the quick recap, and as always, if you want to skip it, you can find the timestamps down below to the beginning of today's part with the story. Right then, so last time we covered the third and the fourth story cards. In the third one, we followed Nymph and Paul as they were investigating rumors about a monster. Their investigation then leads them to a member of Madrok's people, and through him to Madrok herself, and we learned that the monster was one of Madrok's very own Colossuses, and that Colossus got, essentially, it went berserk from a Revenant fragment that was stuck on it. Madrok dissolves the golem, the Colossus, and Nymph manages to gather the fragment with ease after that. At their parting, Madrok invites Nymph to come with her to Rhode Island to meet Amia, who is there in their branch in Kazdel, supposedly, but Nymph declines for now, as she and Paul still have work to do. The fourth story card then sets Nymph on the trail of another fragment, of course. In the marketplace in Kazdel, she spots an interesting Sarkaz woman in a very standout clothing that goes by the name of Crowny. Nymph gets a reading from a fragment in the vicinity, and that puts her on Crowny's trail. following her and making contact with her two on top, Nymph discovers that Crownie has fashioned a fragment into a brooch to go with her suit. Nymph continues to follow her all the way to the outside of the city, where Crownie is expecting a delivery. And suddenly a wild penguin logistics Bostima appears to deliver some fabric to Crownie, and she gets a little chat in on top with Nymph too. We also get to see that Mostima is obviously not alone there, as always, Fiammetta is there to trail and protect her, of course, and stop her from getting herself in trouble, essentially. Then back in the city, Nymph and Crownie get to some talking, and Crownie shares a brief overview of her life with her. The long and short of it is that one day she found an old tattered book with clothing designs that immediately inspired her to become pretty much a designer and a tailor, and on top of that, giving us hints that the book in question may or may not have belonged to someone that we know, and that someone goes by the name of Theresa, considering some details that get mentioned during that exchange between the two of them. And then at the end, Nymph does get her hands on the brooch, as Crownie has no more use for it, considering that she now has improved her design for the suit that she is making. And that is pretty much where we left off last time, so how about we go to our final two cards for today. So, we are left with our final two, and we shall begin with the first one, which is the Witch and her afternoon tea. So, it is time to meet the NPC, or rather the random event that you can, random event NPC that you can encounter in IS4. So, let's start.
Where am I? Hey! Hey. How did I get here? My hand.
Pink patterns have formed on her hand. Blood has frozen to crystal, tearing the skin apart and forcing its way out along the patterns. A chill wind blows past, tearing blood and flesh like flower petals, leaving behind only...
It hurts. Why?
Half an hour ago.
I'm sorry, Nymph. I had to rush you like this. But I won't have peace here until these Revenant fragments are back where they belong. Master and Vishadel have been fighting constantly. They sound crazier than the ancestors in a furnace. I'm sorry, Ermi. I've practically combed every inch of Kazdel, but I just couldn't find the remaining fragments. Please, I'm counting on you. What about the slum kid who was with you? He ran the number of households in this area against how fast we walked and figured that we had to split up to check everything before sundown. We split it down the middle. He said he had some repairmen on his side with sticky fingers, and he wanted to take the opportunity to teach them a lesson. I hope he's not putting himself in danger, but I'm sure he can handle it.
Hey, come on, it was just a few questions. Why the weapons? You can't expect to run a dirty operation without facing the music, and I never said I was gonna report you to the military commission. Alright, if it's just the two of you, I could use the exercise. What? Those guys are with you too? How many are there? 20? 30? Is it too late for negotiations?
Do you think a Revenant would miss the furnace after a few days and go home on his own?
Are you even listening to yourself? Would you want to go back to the place where you were held prisoner for centuries?
It's just an idea. I don't know what it's like in a furnace. You know, maybe Kazdel is a kind of furnace too. People outside think it's scary and terrible, but it's home to us. It's hard to imagine being imprisoned for hundreds of years when I've been around for less than 20. Maybe you're in a better position to judge, Ermi? I wouldn't carry on down this topic if I were you, Nymph. You really are something else, Nymph. Probably no one else in Kazdel would think like that but you, our kindest Jarl. Huh? Would I... Do I smell herbal tea? Oh, I remember now. Kalaisha's place is right over there. Should we pay her a visit? Nymph, we have more urgent business, remember? Right, I was suggesting we go ask about the Revenant fragments. Who said anything about berry cookies? Are the fragments not urgent business? Fine, but don't take too long. It's a wonder you get along so well with Kalaisha, though. She's wonderful. She always gives me little presents when I visit. Why is everyone scared of her? Oh, but again, can't go empty-handed, official business or not. Let me see. She only moved in recently. What would be a good housewarming gift?
Knock, knock. With one hand behind her back, Nymph knocks on the slightly damped door with the other.
Are you home, Kalaisha? Oh, hello, Nymph. Just a second while I get the door. Good afternoon, Kalaisha. I didn't have time to prepare a gift, but I hope you'll like this anyway. I remember you said you wanted some flowers to cover up the smell of herbs in the house. Oh, careful of the mud. I picked them up with the roots so you can plant them in your garden.
A pair of hands, fair as ivory, takes the flowers. Blue petals fall upon her gloves like the patterns of fine embroidery.
Blue snowdrops. Can Kazel's barren soil nurture such beauties now? Thank you, Nymph. I'll place this gift in the finest ways. Glad you like it. I didn't know they were called blue snowdrops. I'm delighted that you came to visit, Nymph, but unfortunately, I'm about to head out. Oh, you're busy. Is this a bad time? Not at all. Just a small errand. It shouldn't take more than a few minutes. You can wait here. Just don't touch anything while I'm out. Some things are... not ready or suitable to be presented. Promise me? I promise. I won't touch anything. My parents taught me manners. Good girl.
Nymph sits down by the desk. The warm candlelight is like a fragile barrier against the shadows from the corners and the roof. A faint, acidic scent wafts from the herbs hanging from the roof beams. The wooden cabinets by the wall stand like coffins, guarding secrets that must never see the light of day.
My heart's racing for some reason. What's that creaking sound? Is there a masterpiece in the walls?
Nymph gulps. She feels a chill run up her spine. She keeps glancing at the window, but the daylight outside seems to grow darker every time she does. Her heart races with an unusual rhythm. The dial touches her chest and feels a trembling box.
Oh, it's just a detector. Wait! It wasn't reacting when I was outside. Could the fragment be in this house? My back's starting to hurt from sitting too long. I should stretch my legs. It's alright if I just took a look around, isn't it? This way? That way? Up there? It's not under the floor, is it? There! The signal's getting stronger. Ow! Where did this cabinet come from? Was it here all along? Oh no, I knocked something off. Kalaisha's gonna think I messed with her stuff. I've got to put it back. Surely it's fine to put back something that fell on the floor?
Nymph bends down and feels for the blurry shadow in the darkness. A strange sensation strikes her fingertips. She lifts the shadow, revealing a garland of branches, thorns, and mossflower, with snowdrops still mixed in. Nymph says in ancient Sarkaz,
Snow?
Nymph feels her heart skip a beat upon saying the ancient Sarkaz word, like chills she gets when an actual snowflake falls on her palm. She stares at the garland in her hand, resisting the urge to put it on. The room seems to shrink and darken until it's almost suffocating. The sound of breathing in her ear grows heavier, but is it her own or from behind her? The branches entwine with her hair, and the thorns pierce her palm. Nymph silently counts, then turns slowly but resolutely to look behind her. Please, take it.
Huh? When did you... who are you?
Please, take it. Take it, please.
The walls of the hut fallen, the roof is gone. I find myself in the wilderness, the chaos of the battle coming from beyond the dust. The garland in my hand has turned to blood, spilling through my fingertips. A bloodied Nachtseer crawls toward me, but I cannot move.
Help me, Master.
Who are you?
The Lich, the king of Sarkaz, is dead. Elish has fallen. Why? Why do we still fight?
I hear the ancient Sarkaz language, disjointed syllables that come together to form words. King, death, fight. I try to asking where we are, but my words slip away from my lips, turning into faint echoes in the sky. Where am I?
The end of the battlefield. The boundary between life and death. Why do you not grant me your blessing, Master? Do you despise my cowardice, too? Grant me the pain of decay. Grant me the continuation of life. Take this power away. Please. Please take it.
He pulls out a rotten object from his chest and places it in my hand. His visage contorts from pain. His eyes are a mixture of reverence, fear, and hate. Get it away from me! I don't want it! Help!
I understand. This is not a blessing, but punishment for my desertion. Please, Master Kalaisha.
You called me Kalaisha? Wait, why is my hand acting on its own? Is this a trick, Kalaisha? Stop it! I raise my hand at the broken figure, but the hand I see is wrapped in bandages soaked with dried blood. A tattered cloth brushes against the deserter's helmet. The scent of decay flows out, tearing away at what remains of his reason, filling his husk, bringing life. I feel a daze, then hunger. I bestowed strength on my weakened kin, becoming stronger in the process. Without speaking, I hear a familiar voice in my head. Cast down your weapon, deserter, and leave my battlefield.
As you wish, Master.
He casts down his heavy armor, piece by piece, revealing terrifying wounds through gaps in a cloth that shrouds him. The blood seeping out of his body coagulates instantaneously, like new skin.
Have you seen snow before?
The sound of the word is peculiar, but I understand what it means. It has been so long since it last snowed in Kazdel, many have forgotten how to pronounce the word.
I killed an Ursin and cleaved open his chest. I watched as he died,
But he didn't seem to feel any pain, repeating only a single word over and over. Snieg. It must be something that removes the pain. Have you seen snow, Master?
Pain is the shadow of strength, and life is the sun. I cannot see snow under the scorching sun. You're afraid of pain, but not of death?
But why believe in... Nay, it is not my place to say. I should go, Master.
Go north, and don't come back.
The scene before me fades into the distance. I am rapidly moving away from the ground and toward the battlefield. I see helmets clash and swords strike against armor. I see the shadow of death looming over Kazdel. Where am I? Hey! Hey! How did I get here? My hand! Pink patterns have formed on my hand. Blood has frozen into crystal, tearing the skin apart and forcing its way out along the patterns. A chill wind blows past, tearing my blood and flesh like flower petals, leaving behind only... It hurts. Why?
Come. Give me your hand.
Kalaisha? She holds my hands tightly and recites an incantation that I have never heard before. I see clear droplets of water hanging from her eyelashes. Perhaps it is melted snow. She exhales and lets my hands go. The comforting warmth is still there. I spread my palms open. The patterns and wounds are no longer there, replaced by a pair of blue butterfly wings, which flap and disappear into the snowfield. Is this real?
Yes, it is. Come, I'll tell you on the way.
Kalaisha.
Have we met before? It's all right. You may call me the North Wind Witch here. I think you're the first Nachtseher I've seen since I came here.
Nachtseher?
I've sensed your presence ever since you set foot on the snowfield. You are growing weaker, like a campfire buried under snow. A Nachtseher who turns from war inevitably grows weak, a process that is even more painful than waiting for the approach of death. So, why did you do it?
She throws the question at me casually, like kicking up a puff of loose snow. But the question feels so heavy, I can only gasp for air. Words fail me.
Was it because of that war? The Liege, nay, Nezalem, had no choice, and you had to take the opposite path, as I did. We're here.
Behind a cracked boulder lies a small patch of ice where wind and snow cannot reach. Beneath this ice, the water remains calm, cradling a round air pocket like a sorrowful eye. The North Wind Witch cracks the edges of the ice surface with her staff, and the air pocket escapes, becoming one with the wind and snow again.
I came across this place by chance. The Muspies won't drink from it, even if they're dying of thirst. This spring does not grow or diminish, its water always clear. It exists on its own, outside of the snowfield. I once bandaged myself by the spring, but later discovered that immersing in it was far more effective.
Like you bathe in it? I've heard that workers on the mobility layer bury barrels in the ground to bathe, but it's so cold here.
The water is not deep. You can hold my hand if you're afraid.
Alright, I guess I'll try. I step slowly into the spring. The cold penetrates the armor and bandages that do not belong to me, piercing my every bone. The water covers my shoulders and presses against my heart. Kalaisha, no, Northwind Witch. Do you remember encountering a dying Narrated deserter a long time ago?
I do.
Did he ever see the snow?
I heard he died on his way to the north.
But he saw the snow, at least, didn't he?
No. He may never have seen it, but the snow was always inside him.
The heartbeat gradually slows and I can hear the sound of snowflakes falling on my head in between the rhythm. The festering wounds and old scars continue to sting. The withered flesh and blood will never flourish again, but none of it matters anymore. The pain has not lessened. It simply exists in another form now, like snowflakes that melt in the icy spring. Alicia, is this really a dream? If it is, who did you make it for? What do you want to tell them? Your past? Your future? Or who you really are? Kalaisha does not answer. She sits by the shore, her staff laid sideways on her legs. I see a blue-purple butterfly fly past her hair. One after another they encircle the icy spring, turning the decay in me into new butterflies as they flap their wings. Crystalline butterflies surround her. Her fingertips drop down to brush the surface of the water, but there is no ripple. The snow stops and I suddenly realize that so too has this dream. Is the dream over? Kalaisha, can I leave now? You're scaring me. I could really use some hot tea right now. Kalaisha! In the darkness, I sense something approaching, but whatever it is not alive. I try to curl up, but cannot sense my limbs or torso. It is as if only my consciousness is left.
A malicious sound can be heard from the presence in the dark.
I feel fangs. I sense hunger. I arrive beyond the end, before the door. Kalaisha, help! I shouldn't have touched your stuff. I'm sorry. Kalaisha! Cold engulfs me again, and fear rushes into my throat. Just as I am certain I will drown, the door opens.
Come in. You have rejected a title that the military commission conferred upon you, Kalaisha. Do you know what you have turned down? Or that we have yearned for too long? The blood of the old days will not be washed away. Don't tell me you really intend to leave that house. The liches will never allow you to leave their handiwork. No. Why is there a Dial here?
Hello, my liege? Are you, King Nezalim? I read about you in my textbooks. The tall Naxera bends down toward me. I cannot tell whether he is observing, listening, or trying to discern my scent.
Why have you come? He has not polished this memory, nor connected it to other things.
I don't know. One minute I was in an ice spring with her, and the next thing I know, I'm here. What do you mean by not connected to other things?
Kalaisha deserted her war, but never her kind. She preserved her memories for her kin, for reasons unknown. Perhaps she discovered a new path in the endless ice fields.
Do you mean we're in Kalaisha's memories? Do you know how I can leave? How do I wake up from this dream?
Time has no meaning here. No one can know when you will wake up, or if deeper slumber awaits.
Then, are you real or a version from Kalaisha's memories?
It does not matter. The life of Nezalem matters not. The name of Nezalem is synonymous with war. But it has been a long time since I talked to someone like this.
Okay, maybe we can chat until I wake up.
Has the war for Londinium ended, Jarl?
Yes, I suppose. But I don't think you'd like how it ended.
No. Surely I would have passed on, but Kazdel and the Sarkaz will remain.
The Patriarch of the Nachtserer stays silent for a long time, as though he has forgotten I am here. Maybe we could, talk about something else?
Very well. Is it turnip season?
Huh? Oh, not a lot of people plant them these days. Most people plant maize and sweet potatoes. You're into food? I know a lot about that. I mean, maybe not Nachtserer, food.
Go on.
I'm back. I left a pot of herbal tea on the stove outside before I went out. It's just about ready now. Get the tea set out, Nymph. The one with the pink roses is for you. Nymph?
The tray slips from the Northwind Witch's hand, and she only has time to grab the scalding teapot. The tray shatters on the floor, but she simply stares in horror at the table. The garland of branches, thorns, and mossflower lies beneath the dim candlelight. The Jarl is gesturing excitedly to it, as though roasting sweet potatoes in furnace ash.
It's even sweeter than honey when it's fresh out of the furnace. Worth the blisters it gives you. Oh, look at me, I just keep talking about myself. What about you? What's your favorite food? Salty turnips? Oh, sweet potatoes might be your next favorite? Just give me a moment. I'll fetch a few from the furnace for you. Oh, Kalaisha, you're back. Oh, hey, when did I wake up?
What's going on? Nezalem?
Nymph stares blankly in front of her, then looks down at her hands before looking to the Northwind Witch with teary eyes.
Kalaisha, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't touch your stuff again. Ow! Hot! Why are you standing there with a teapot in your hands?
Why do you think? How did you get to my unfinished trinket in the time it took me to pick a few flowers from the garden? You even got him out? Tell me what happened.
The Revenant detector started reacting as soon as I walked in. I felt like I had to look around a bit. I never meant to put it on, but it's like my hands weren't my own. Then I had a scary dream. One moment I was you, flying all over the battlefield. Then I was in an ice spring with you. Then a monster almost ate me.
Those are dreams that I made with my own memories to help Nazir veterans cope after returning from war. They haven't been fully tested yet. They're dangerous. Thank goodness you weren't hurt. I'm not leaving you alone in this house ever again. And you can forget about today's berry cookies, if you can't keep your hands to yourself.
I really didn't mean to put it on, but there was some sort of power compelling me. I thought you were playing a trick on me.
Could it be the Revenant fragment you were talking about? No wonder the hut hasn't felt quite right these past few days. I thought it had indigestion or something.
The Northwind Witch puts down the teapot, walks around the room, then looks up at the center of the roof.
I gave you a choice, revered ancestor. You can mock me with my memories and my house. But if you disrespect my guest...
Shadows surge out from the corners of the house, as if wanting to devour the two. But a pair of eyes, cold as ice, deliver its ultimatum. Then... the eyes close, and ice blue witchcraft begins to spread through the space. Are you gonna talk or not?
Stop! You're gonna twist my arm off!
Looks like you're the easiest of them to break. Good, saves me the effort. One more time, are you sure you didn't see it?
How was I supposed to see where the thing fell in the middle of the night? Anything like that would make a bang when it crashes, but we didn't!
Thanks. See you later.
Wait, I want to know what the fuck happened to...
Nymph? Are you okay? Nymph, huh?
Did you find your fragment?
I did!
The box closes with a click, and Nymph jumps down from the rubble, raising her handy box in triumph.
Aren't I awesome? I already have so many.
Yes, quite. I already had the fragment under my witchcraft, but it was your awesome arts that brought it down, along with my house.
Sorry, that was the shadow I saw in my nightmare, and I lost control of my hearts because I was scared. But I heard Nezalim say your hut was made out of lich arts. I happen to know a lich. Please, Kalaisha, why are you suddenly looking at me like that? You're scaring me.
What else did he tell you? Funny you should bring that up, because I don't recall giving you permission to go over my memories.
It was an accident.
And you wasted perfectly good tea and berry cookies.
Excuse me? What's going on, Nymph? Did you find a fragment?
You're a friend of Nymph's? Yes, she found her fragment, but I'm afraid she's busy at the moment.
You're Madame Kalaisha, right? So, what's she busy with?
She angered the ancestor and wrecked my house, so now she has to fix it before she can go.
But I thought your house walked into Kazdel and survived cannon blasts from bandits. Could Nymph really have wrecked it alone?
What was that?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all, ma'am.
Would you like some tea? I poured it right before she blew the roof off.
I appreciate the offer, but I'm good.
Keep at it, Nymph. Just a few more piles of rubble left and you're good to go. I'm starving. My berry cookies.
Another one. I wasn't even looking and I already spotted 4 safety hazards on my stroll. Such a poorly designed junction of pipes is incredibly vulnerable to changes in the furnace's power output. You're basically looking at a potential explosion. Well, good thing the old-timers in the furnace don't have to stay in there much longer. Hopefully, by then they'll... Flower petals? Where did these come from? Blue snowdrops, huh? I used to plant them back in Colombia. I didn't think they could grow in Kazdel. Times sure are a-changin'. What's that? Hey, Dial?
That's the guy! The detector is going nuts!
It's really loud. It's not going to explode, is it?
There must be a huge Revenant fragment on this guy.
Stop pulling at my sleeve. It's a bespoke coat.
This guy, it's a living armor.
Living armor. Haven't met such a rude little girl since the Kukulkan.
He's starting to talk gibberish. The Revenant must have possessed him. Paul, hold the box for me.
You want to stuff the whole guy in? I don't think your box is big enough.
Here goes.
Hey, get this box off my head before I lose my temper. Huh. Why are you also in the box? And why are you in pieces?
He's making a run for it.
I'll tie his hands. Stay put. Your big head's gonna break the box. I don't need Ermi getting mad at me again.
Let's get him to the furnace. Quick.
They are a-changing indeed.
Well then, that was a interesting little romp through that story. Also getting to see this woman outside of the event was very interesting. That is quite a personality. And I'll just say she is funny as hell, and I kinda purely on the fact of her personality, I want her as a playable character. That is a mood, and I love it. I love how they implemented literally her encounter from IS4 into this, because in the encounter she also, if I remember correctly, she also offers you basically just to sit there and patiently wait and don't do anything and just sip the tea, or you can avoid the encounter, I believe, and just leave. But yeah, if you don't behave and you do something wrong, well, shit happens. But yeah, very interesting to see her like that. Also, the garland that was mentioned, the very specifically designed out of branches and leaves and stuff like that. There is a garland, and I'm gonna put it on screen right now if I don't forget. There is a garland you can find that kind of resembles what was described here in IS4, but it doesn't have any text that correlates it to her. So maybe it's something along the lines of that she appropriated some form of Sami ritual that they are doing into a Sarkaz ritual that she is concocting with her memories there. Could be, I don't know, because the item itself really doesn't tell you much. The story on it, you can pause it right now on screen. It doesn't really say anything, so be your own judge, I guess, with this one. But it does correlate with stuff, which is nice. But yeah, anyway, despite that, very interesting. First off, she's a Nachterer herself, so that is interesting. I didn't expect her to turn out to be one of the essentially vampire ghouls, but interesting. I wonder how she is, in that case, maintaining herself. Outside of maybe siphoning something from Sami to keep herself as powerful. Also, she seems to be... She seems to be maybe classified as a... Well, she was probably offensive at a certain point, but I guess her current state of being is more in line of a healer. I wonder if she becomes playable. I'm gonna just call her and I'm gonna say she's gonna be a necrotic healer. I think that would fit with her well, because Nachtseher and what she seems to be doing is literally... I mean, she's a Nachtseher and she seems to be healing people, so, you know, necrosis is healing would be interesting. But, anyway, we have one more story, so let's get on with it. Our final story for today, and the one that will leave us with quite an abrupt cliffhanger, but it's no surprise there because this will lead directly into IS4, is What's in the Can? So let's begin.
Ermi, if you read me, please respond. Ermi? It's not working?
Young Dial, could you please unbind my hands? I promise I won't run. At least let me have a smoke.
No can do. I'm not letting you go until I get you back to the furnace.
I told you, you've got the wrong guy. I've been meaning to drop by the furnace, but I really didn't escape from the thing. I have a Colombian ID in my shirt pocket. I could show you right now, if you unbind my hands. It's a long trip from Colombia to Kazdel, isn't it? If you told me you were from Rimbilliton, I probably would have believed you.
Ermi, can you hear me? Hey? Hello?
The box's combat structure has been ruined. You can slap it all you want, but that isn't going to fix it.
How dare you? It's your fault my box got crushed in the first place.
If I fix your little box thing for you, will you free my hands?
Can you really fix it? Don't you pull any tricks on me or anything? I have my own methods to deal with you.
I got it, little y'all. Relax. I'm not going anywhere.
Hold on. Are you actually buying this, Nymph? The guy gets possessed by the ancestors and you're ready to unbind him?
You sure love getting your word in, kiddo, but you don't seem to know a thing about Revenants or the Eye. The Eye are the only ones that can't be influenced by Revenants.
I'll free just one of your hands. Hey! How'd you break yourself out of that? You tricked me!
I knew you were up to no good.
I hope you can appreciate how much it hurts to have my hands bound for so long.
It hurts, even though you've got iron skin.
It's not iron, it's tin. And it doesn't exactly hurt. It's just,
Between his metallic fingers is a single cigarette. It seems to have appeared out of nowhere. The odd man takes it to his mouth, takes a puff, then spins the cigarette around between his fingers before carefully smothering every spark of flame in his palms.
That's good. You can't buy cigarettes this nice in Kazdel. I have to ration them.
Hey, you promised you'd fix my box.
I lied. A Lich created the arts in that box, and those prideful bastards never think about repairability when they design things. That's not to say none of them earned their pride, though.
Come on, you're just going back on your word?
Let me finish. You're looking for someone, aren't you? I can't fix the box, but can I help you find the Lich who made it?
How come you know who I'm looking for?
I don't, but I think I don't need to.
The strange man leans back as a puff of grey whitish smoke gradually floats from his mouth. The smoke disappears into a rippling cloud, like a stone being thrown into a pool of stagnant water. The Revenant's trace fluctuations sweep across the area, drowning all of Kazdel in silence. A brief moment later, the noise has re-emerged, and the puff of smoke has completely dispersed. Who are you exactly?
Just, who are you, mister?
They call me the Tin Man.
Tin Man?
Look, the one you're looking for is here.
One can count on all the Revenants that walk the lands on one hand. Who might you be?
He says he is the Tin Man.
He says he's from Colombia.
Kazdel is not ready for your return yet.
Hard to blame you. I never thought I'd ever come back here when I left.
What did you come back for?
He says he wants to go to the furnace.
Nymphy.
Okay. I won't interrupt again. Go ahead and ask.
Then allow me to... Never mind. I suppose there is nothing else to ask. Normally, a guest of your pedigree would be received by my master, but...
Your master? That stubborn old man? Let's not tell him. Save my vacation from going completely down the drain.
If you'd like to visit and take a look beneath the soul furnace, I could bring you there without telling anyone.
Not beneath it. I want to go inside it.
Who do you want to visit there?
Who else?
Nymphy, have you gathered all the Revenant fragments yet?
They're all inside my box. Here.
The young Lich nods and nonchalantly throws the slightly misshapen box into the shadows behind her. Her gaze shifts back and forth between the Jarl and the Revenant, then finally lands on the soul furnace that stands in the distance.
Then, let's go. Nymphy, I'll find another time to give you your reward. And here's the surprise I promised you. Do you want to go into the soul furnace for a walk?
Can I really? Can I bring friends? So many kind people have helped us along the way. I couldn't have never collected all the fragments so quickly without them.
To tell the truth, I've always wanted to go inside, ever since I was a kid, just to see how it works.
Well, as it stands, we've already broken multiple rules today, so...
Give me just a minute. I'll gather everybody up.
Everybody? Hold on.
Right, for my reward, can I get some scrap or iron? Paul, help me explain it to Ermi, okay?
Alright.
Ah, youth. So motivated. Already sprang away like an arrow from the bow.
I never introduced myself. I'm from down below, the slums, as people call it. They call me the consultant there, and I speak for them. Mr. Tinman and the Lich Lady, please call me Paul.
Don't call me a lady. Don't you think that's very improper?
Oh, kiddo. In certain ways, you're still far too young.
One, 2, 3, 4, and me. 5. All of us are here.
Nymphy, the furnace is a dangerous place. Why did you bring this many people? And that little girl behind you.
One child ticket, please.
This is not a sightseeing spot and we don't sell tickets. No children either.
Sorry, Sherry. I tried my best. Maybe next time?
There is no next time.
It's okay, Nymph. I was thinking that maybe the big furnace is full of flatbread like the little one we have. Turns out it's all dark and dirty and lame. What flatbread? We never bake anything with the furnace notes. Your grandpa is still waiting outside, right? Quick, go find him.
There are still so many people here. Now what am I going to do with them?
They all helped me a lot, and you promised me just now they won't give you any trouble at all.
Everyone, I need all of you to give me your own words, not just Nymphy's. It doesn't matter to me. All I want is to take a look at the work of that legendary designer. I've heard her signature is on the Soul Furnace's blueprints too. Is that true? Since when has the Soul Furnace had blueprints? You can look all you want, but no touching. What about you, Gargoyle? What are you looking at? If there's a wide enough pipeline that leads straight out of the city.
Gargoyles tend to be into complicated constructions like this. Don't worry, she's just checking whether the pipelines are sturdy enough.
Right. I'm trying to see if we can crawl through them. What about you, consultant? Trying to live your childhood dream, like you said before?
Is that not good enough of a reason?
I didn't expect to see you here, Kalahisha. What is an Archer who left her tribe doing here? Left my tribe? No, we just hold different ideals. As for what I am doing here, mainly I couldn't bring myself to refuse such a sincere invitation from this cutie pie. And if I manage to learn a few extraordinary witchcraft rituals while inside the Soul Furnace, that's all the better. None of us here have any reason to lie. What's more, it was Adyal who invited all of us.
I finished the whole cigarette already. Are you done with the roll call yet? I don't suppose anyone's going against the word. Lich girl, try not to pick up your master's bad habits. Liches used to have a pretty great reputation, but now...
I'm not very well versed in history, but I can tell you are making things up. Okay now, if everyone's ready, let's get inside. Stay close. Don't fall behind.
Hooray! You're the best, Ermi! I knew you would be more amenable than those old stuck-up fossils.
Turn right to the next corner. There are potholes on the ground 3 steps ahead. Keep left. You can open your eyes now. We're here.
So this is what it looks like inside. What's that faintly glowing thing?
The witchcraft core. This is the deepest part of the Soul Furnace. As far as I know, ever since it was built, only liches have come here to hold rituals to appease the Revenants.
And the last ritual caused the big fireworks that led all of us here. Anything else to share?
Mr. Tinman, should we proceed as we discussed?
Sure. I'll keep an eye out for you.
The fireworks were only an accident, and the ceremony wasn't completed. My master tasked me with finding the Revenant fragments scattered all over Kazdel, and I entrusted this mission to Nymph. Nymph then got your help, which means... my master owes all of you a favor. No, he owes all of us a favor. As the keeper of the Temple of Knowledge, a favor of his is most valuable indeed. You could accomplish quite a lot with it. But as a student, I've already decided in this place to use this favor to do something exceedingly difficult.
I'm kinda getting the feeling you're about to say something horrible. Is it okay if I leave now?
No way, I invited you here. If anyone's leaving, I'm leaving first.
It's actually nothing to be scared of. She's just being sulky that she got taught a lesson by the stubborn old man, and she's trying to win back some face.
What face?
The Revenant's face. I'll finish my master's appeasement ceremony without a flaw. So, are you in? Ah! Sorry, I couldn't stand that awkward silence, so I thought I'd make some noise. Like I said, I'm just here to admire that legendary designer's work. Since I've now seen it, I'll leave this Revenant business to the rest of you.
We kept our eyes closed the whole time, and you're telling me you're already done?
If it was just watching the ceremony, I'd be totally fine. But the Lich here seems to want us to be active participants. If we're dealing with the Revenants, should we let Amia know? And the Babel members too.
All of us have seen how powerful the Revenants can be. Even little fragments were causing chaos all over Kazdel.
Paul, stop sweating. It's not that bad.
Not that bad. Think about it, Nymph. If it had taken us just a little longer to get any of the fragments, what do you think would have happened? There would have been bloodshed if those gangs had drawn their blades and the Berserker Colossus wouldn't have stopped its fist. And think about the risks when facing the Revenants who had been burning in the furnace for centuries. Is that really something we can take by ourselves?
Yes. Like I said, I'll keep an eye out for you.
A revenant. A powerful revenant who turned his back on his homeland, only to return as if nothing had happened. I have no qualms with this.
I'm fine with it too. What's there to be scared of if we have such a badass ancestor looking after us?
You're getting ahead of yourself, Nymph. Even with Mr. Tinman here, it's not going to be easy to appease the ancestors with just the few of us.
Why do you think it'll be hard? We've met so many people on our way here. Everyone may live pretty hard lives, but we're all living life to the fullest. Maybe the ceremony failed last time because the ancestors had heard enough nagging. I mean, when all you ever hear is the future and sacrifice, blah 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 blah, how is anyone supposed to cheer up? If you tell them about how people in Kazdel live these days, that might drive up their enthusiasm. Besides, the Revenants might still remember that legendary designer. They might know her true identity.
That sounds splendid. Count me in. We've made it this far. We can't go back empty-handed. And if the Revenants can show us a secret passageway out of the city...
Then you're in too. Paul, what do you say? Still hesitating?
It's a bit of a risk, but I can't think of a reason to not go for it. I'm in.
Okay, then let's throw the ancestors an appeasement ceremony like they've never seen. What do you think, Mr. Tin Man?
I'm intrigued. I said yes to the Lich Girl there because she said basically what you just did.
Huh. Really, Ermi?
We're the ones who will walk the path of Kazdel's future, not them, so... Of course we have the right to do this. Now cover your ears. I'll begin the incantations. Let's try again. Relax. Flawed souls, come near and heed my call. In the flames, as your bloodlines melt away, heed my call. What's going on? There's no response at all. Mr. Tinman, are you still there? Maybe I've gone too deep. I'm not getting any response. Did I do something wrong? No, if I turn back now, I'll be admitting to a failure before it's even over. In the shapeless shadows, spots of cold light revolve around my consciousness, leaving layered trails behind them. Once you try to understand the logic within, you will immediately lose yourself in it. Stop. Think. Think. These are the Revenants' fragments. I remember now. I tried bringing them together, but they keep escaping through my fingers, like stardust. They are talking. There's one, two, a lot of voices slowly drawing near me. The coldness fades away, and the frigid ice burns bright. I can feel it. Agitation, hatred, chaos. It's more than them not hearing my cries. They are simply ignoring me. Ultimately, they are annoyed. They want to tear me apart.
Step back. 3, 2, 1. Cut your senses off and step back.
Army, are you okay? You were standing there shaking. That was scary.
I'm alright. Where is Mr. Tin Man? He's over there by the wall. He hasn't moved for a while now with his head down, and I'm not sure what's going on with him or if those metallic joints ever ache.
The ceremony, did it work?
I was returning the fragments to the Revenants, but I almost lost myself in their consciousness. It was the Tin Man who saved me.
Not a big deal. I just offered a hand. You could have handled it by yourself, although it would have taken more time.
He was standing still the whole time. Why the sound feels like it's echoing inside my head?
It's not a bad thing for kids to have that kind of drive, but you went too deep. Good thing you had an old man like me to watch you from ashore and occasionally drop the old pearl.
But the Revenants didn't heed my call.
I have expected as much. Having spent so much years in the furnace, the brains have been torched. No, they haven't had brains in a long time. You, the schemy kid. Yes, you. Give me a hand. Take the notepad from my coat's inside pocket, and a few pens too.
You aren't going to suddenly wake up and grab my hand, right? Like that kind of thing in the horror stories.
I'm not that cliché. Once you have the notebook, write down whatever you want to say to the Revenants. Tear the pages out and burn them. The letter's in my pants pocket, or use arts, either way.
Will that really reach them?
They can't make me look bad, right? Write down whatever you want, but I suggest topics they might be interested in. Hey, what do you folks want to know about? Things about Kazdel. Write them down. Tear the pages out. Burn them.
What are you doing right now?
I ran into an old friend. We're catching up. Don't worry about me.
I'm finished. Army, make me a fireball, will you?
Can't you manage simple arts like that? Never mind. Who else has something ready to burn? No need. I found a lighter. Nymph, what did you write?
Not telling. Wishes don't come true if you say them out loud.
You aren't making a wish.
Can you feel it? The furnace seems to be shaking. I can see it. The ancestors have manifested.
Time to talk about you. Me? Actually, he came to me back then too, but I didn't go with him. I saw the bones on him clattering away. Were you in there? Don't remember. Memories don't do anyone any good here other than adding to the suffering. But you still recognized me. Because I loathed you. We loathed you. Our resentment fanned the flames. It's what he wished. You lot certainly have a reason to loathe. I find myself with hard feelings every now and then too. You should never have returned. Why are you here? Let's just say I'm here to see old friends. I've spent too much time in Columbia, waking up every morning to see a bunch of newly invested gadgets. But sometimes, I reminisce on old times and old friends. That's why I decided to take a vacation and come back here. It's been centuries, and I heard Kazdel got rebuilt again. I was curious what the place would look like. I heard that they'd renovated this furnace soon, and there would be a celebration to release all of you. Though I wonder if you'll last that long. It's more of a funeral. An endless funeral. I'm aware. Revenants. All of you died long ago, but you need a funeral nonetheless. I understand that. I do. In some parts of Colombia, you'll tell jokes about the dead at funerals. Everybody laughs and forgets the teary parts. I think that's a pretty good tradition. More places should have funerals like that. I just so happen to have met some interesting kids, and they've got some interesting ideas. Why not hear what they have to say? Think of it as a rehearsal for your funeral. Try not to scare them, though. They're all good KAZDELIAN kids. It's only been a second. Why are my legs so stiff? Seems I need to find some time for a spa treatment on my joints. Huh. Where's my lighter?
The schemy boy took it.
Can you feel it? The furnace seems to be shaking. I can see it. The ancestors have manifested.
Nymph, watch out. Come over here.
You think you have the right to stand before the Revenants and talk about the future of Kazdel?
Not only the future. What I wrote is probably more like legends and folk tales. Those mercenaries sounded pretty confident, and I wasn't sure if it was true, so I figured I would ask you if there was ever really a Kazdel city that fell straight to the ground, leaving only a big pit.
You would curse Kazdel to be buried in the earth over a mere squabble.
Curse, perish the thought. If such a place actually exists, I want to see it. I might just find some lost treasure I could use to expand my style. I've already thought up the exhibition's title, The Lost Kazdel, Echoes of Eras Past. Sounds classy, don't you think?
There's been so many Kazdels over the course of history. Maybe one of them really did come crashing down. Oh, I'm just running my mouth, don't get mad at me. What I wrote is my hopes for Kazdel's future. Nothing too wild.
Really? Let's see. In a new Kazdel, the Sarkaz help one another, and outsiders no longer have to crowd on the city outskirts. People come here for better lives, regardless of race, and there is no royal court anymore. Paul, did you write that?
That's mine. Did I burn it? How did you find it?
Regardless of race, no royal court. Can you see what I wrote?
Yes. Well, your vision is pretty bold, Gargoyle. I'm afraid it may never come true.
A lot of people said the same thing a lot of years ago to another gargoyle.
Ermi, which step of the ceremony are we on?
We're not on any step. Ever since the ancestors showed up, I've completely lost control of the ceremony. Right now, the feeling I'm getting is that the ancestors are toying with us.
Toying?
They seem to enjoy hearing a different kind of stories.
Crashing to the earth, flying into the sky, no royal court, and an entire city turned to revenants. You people come up with some wild ideas. Do you really think that, compared to the way it is now, Kazdel would be better like that? If Kazdel makes its way toward one of them, only to find it's the wrong path, what will you do?
There's no such thing as the wrong path. Nobody knows what form Kazdel will ultimately take, but all of us want the people here to live better lives. If life gets better, how could you call it the wrong path? Even if the path we ended up taking is a treacherous one, it would be better than finding ourselves at a dead end, wouldn't it?
There is no response from the furnace's core. The Tin Man looks down once again, all while his fingers continues to rhythmically tap his other arm. Nymph feels her heart beating faster as the staff in her hand gets hotter. Come on, hurry up and say something. Nymph glances at Crowny to plead for help, but she sees only a dark shadow in the distance.
If you think Kazdel would be better that way, then try it for yourselves. You will prove for yourselves whether the outcome is good or bad, and you will bear any consequences. Let's see if you truly have the right to find Kazdel a different path.
A different path? To where?
To the stories you just told.
And that, my dear friends, is where it ends off on. Like I said, it is a abrupt cliffhanger, but it definitely... Now I definitely understand where we're going with this in IS5, when it releases pretty much on the same day as this video is gonna go live. As a reminder, I will be streaming this, IS5 that is, when it goes live on the same day. So come and join me on the journey through it. I have no idea about the stories in there, I have no idea about the encounters in there, I have no idea about nothing of it. As always, I keep myself blind from this stuff, because I want to experience it myself, and have, you know, surprise reactions and shit like that, so it will be a romp, and I'm looking forward to it, but we do have an idea what it's gonna be about now, I guess, considering we ended up on all of these characters pretty much telling stories to the Revenants in the Furnace, and I guess that is the premise of IS5 then? I do remember, what was it called again? Furnace Side Stories or something? Something along those lines? I can't remember from the top of my head right now, but something along those lines, so I kind of understand now why it's called that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that mode, and this is also a very interesting ending. I will say though, I'm surprised at the end, that final CG that they showed where they were all burning the papers. I'm surprised that Madrok wasn't shown in it anywhere. Like, she was there, she was also participating in the whole thing, but in the picture, she's the only one who is missing, which is weird. I don't understand why. I mean, she's always in her big bulky suit, so I'm kind of wondering, like, why they didn't include her somewhere in the background. All the characters were there, unless I'm absolutely super blind, but I rechecked the picture when I was done recording earlier, and I couldn't see her anywhere, and I'm like, okay, why? She did stay with them there, and she participated in the ritual, so why was she skipped? Madrok. Why? Why did they forget about you? But yeah, anyway, the story was interesting, the characters were goofy and funny, and I really enjoyed them. It was especially funny to voice some of them, especially Crowny and Kalaisha were kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if the two of them, I mean, the two of them, those two specifically, are super highly detailed when it comes to their design. They pretty much just reek of at some point playable. At some point. I mean, Tin Man is playable. He comes with IS5. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, like I said, the story was fun. It was nice to see the Sarkaz and Kazdel itself be in kind of like this tranquil peace where they're now kind of piecing together new lives and getting shit back on track. Considering after everything that happened with the main story, they are now definitely not feeling the rage of the ancestors anymore. And I'm not talking about the Revenants, I'm talking about the myriad souls. So they are kind of settling in slowly into like a normal life, and I do wonder where the story in the future is gonna take them. Obviously, it's gonna take years until Kazdel completely perks itself into a regular city like the Colombian cities or even the Ursin, Yan cities, whatever. But it's gonna be a while. But they're on the way. I would say they're on a good way now. Another thing, I'm actually surprised that Fremont didn't appear more in this story. I was expecting him to appear randomly throughout the cards as the fragments are being gathered and stuff, but nothing of the sort transpired, which is very interesting to me, and I do wonder why that is, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Vishadel as well with the Revenant was there for like a split second just to get the story started essentially. And that was about it. Manfred as well, he pretty much just was there for a split moment to show you, hey, he is cooperating with everybody. That's good for him. And they do tease that Amiya is obviously in Kazdel, which was the premise and how it was left off on, that she's gonna go to Kazdel. It even all the way back, I think back in Lone Trail, Tin Man was the one who was saying that the airship returned to Kazdel, and that Amiya, I think he actually said that Amiya went with them, went to Kazdel, that is, but I can't remember. It was mentioned somewhere. I believe it was Tin Man, but I might be misremembering. It was in another place mentioned. But yeah, they obviously are not gonna show her here because, as mentioned, this story is 100% taking place like at least 2 years after the events of chapter 14. So they are, I mean, my whole bet is they're literally keeping like a redesigned regular looking Amiya, older Amiya of course, for the next main story chapter is my prediction to that. They're obviously not gonna show her here. If they would have showed it here, that would have been actually fantastic, but I presume the design wasn't finalized yet, and it's one of those things, just like with Amiya's Victorian arc design, something you want to keep as a reveal for, you know, when the story actually comes around. So yeah, we'll see when that comes around in the future. Also, I know that people have noticed, but it's been a long while since we didn't have any main story announcement, even in CN. I know that they announced the next main story, and it's taking place in Rim Billiton. I know that much, and outside of that, I will not gonna be looking up, even when they reveal the story, what the hell is happening over in Rim Billiton, and maybe I'm probably gonna hear from someone randomly when it's taking place, if they give a date. But I don't know. I said this already somewhere, and I'm just gonna repeat it here as well, just as a extra little 2 cents in a bucket kind of prediction. I would love it if it happens. I am not sure if it will happen, but I would love it if they actually, because it's now been so long, if they actually announce the next, or rather, sorry, they already announced, but if they actually show the trailer for the next main story chapter, when it will be dropping in, and they announce at the same time, hey, this is dropping in both CN and Global at the same time. That would be stupidly good, and I kind of hope, I really hope and cope that is the case, because that would be so good. Because then you don't have to fear too much of spoilers. You are literally covering it as it is live, right? Please let it happen. Oh my god, let it just happen. That would be so good. But yeah, anyway, I think this is where I'm gonna wrap this up. So once again, I will be streaming IS-5 today as this episode goes live. For anybody who can't catch it, obviously the VODs will be available. And I will, once the first stream is over, so like a day after this goes live, I will be including the playlist for the IS-5 playthrough in the description of this video. So if you just want to watch the VODs and see, you know, blind reactions and playthroughs of it, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there in the future. Right now, it's not there, but it will be in the future. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed. If you did so, please consider leaving a like. Do leave comments how you found the story as well, of course. I am looking forward to reading them as always, and seeing your guys' predictions for stuff that comes from this story, essentially. And if you're looking forward to IS-5. And yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you just want to listen to anything Arknights, literally everything is there. Every single side story and main story thing is literally there. So just pick it up and put it on like an audiobook and enjoy. And yeah, if you want to support me more directly, memberships are open. And as always, no video will be behind a membership. So yeah, thank you very much to the members that are there. Hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.
Master and Vishadel have been fighting constantly. They sound crazier than the ancestors in the furnace.
I'll believe it. Oh god, those two bickering between each other, that is even better than Fremois and the Revenants bickering at each other. I want to see that.
Why have you come? She has not polished this memory.
Oh, he is aware. This guy is on another level.
Maybe we could, talk about something else?
Very well. How is it? Turnip season.
I don't know, but the war god talking about turnip season is tickling my funny bone. Anyway.
Aren't I awesome? I already have so many.
Yes, quite. I already had the fragment under my witchcraft, but it was your awesome arts that brought it down, along with my house.
The slow clap. Oh, she's pissed. Nothing at all, ma'am. What is that face? What is that face?
What's that? Djal?
That's the guy. The detector is going nuts.
I mean, he's a revenant. I knew he was setting this shit off. It's really loud. It's not going to explode, is it?
There must be a huge Revenant fragment on this guy.
You better explain yourself, Tin Man.
Stop pulling on my sleeve. Stop pulling on my sleeve. It's a bespoke coat.
This guy. It's a living armor.
Living armor? Huh. Haven't met such a rude little girl since the Kukulkan.
Uh-huh.
He's starting to talk gibberish. The Revenant must have possessed him.
Oh my god.
Paul, hold the box for me.
You want to stuff the whole guy in? I don't think your box is big enough.
Here goes.
Hey, get this box off my head before I lose my temper. Huh? Why are you also in the box? And why are you in pieces?
He's making a run for it.
Untie his hands. Stay put. Your big head's gonna break the box. I don't need Ermi getting mad at me again.
Let's go to the furnace quick.
They are changing indeed.
Jesus Christ.